A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us on BeeTv Major News at 6, reaching you live from Benin City, Edo State Capital, Nigeria. On today's news report, we have what's package news for you on the leap year, on the evolution of the telephone, sports, and other reports for your delight. My name is Tosin Toluwaloju. We begin from the immigration sector. Kemi Nabdag has been decorated as the 19th Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service. The report is presented by Best Orator.
The new CG says under her watch, security will be tightened across the country's borders. It's the investiture of the newly appointed Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service. Kemi Nabdag is the fourth woman to rise to the highest office in the service. She says she has her work cut out in the wake of the country's porous borders.
We will tighten our borders. Security will be a key objective to reduce the porosity of our borders and also enhance the overall national security of our nation.
The new CG says she will be investing a lot of resources in training personnel of the service to achieve set objectives.
We will intend to make sure that we have deliberate trainings and retrainings. That will be the cornerstone of our strategy, and we shall ensure that we are well equipped to handle the evolving challenges of migration and border management effectively.
For the Minister of Interior, how well the Comptroller General is able to improve border security will be a determinant of efficacy.
Because the safety of Nigeria depends on how well we can secure our border. In the security architecture of Nigeria, Nigerian Immigration Service has a prominent role to play.
A lot is expected of the Immigration Service as it implements reforms to passport service and border security. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command says operations carried out by its operatives have recorded positive outcomes, particularly in tackling card theft and fraud syndicates plaguing the nation's capital, Abuja. Addressing newsmen in Abuja, the Commissioner of Police, CP Bennett Igwe, revealed the arrest of a notorious car theft and car snatching syndicate responsible for a spate of vehicle thefts in the FCT and its environs. The report.
Somebody call me, say, he get dollars. I get personal fee changer for them. Now I tell him, say, which kind of dollars? Because that time I don't know this kind of money. I tell me, see that money. I say, okay, let me ask somebody. When I order if he get a person who fit change. After I ask that person, the person tell me, say, the dollar na correct one. I tell him, say, the dollars, they get fake one. He tell me, say, yes. Why we didn't bring the back? The man can't lose the back, carry the money, give me. Call give the man, want me to follow and go. The man say, hey, see what I tell you. I say, na correct one. This one will be correct one now. I say, okay.
After I graduate from school, I cannot really in details for now. Because I cannot give in details, but I met someone that knows how to do it, and he taught me how to do it.
I'm a businessman. I was called to buy a car without knowing that the car was a stolen car. That is my case.
According to the Commissioner of Police, FCT Command, they apprehended suspects identified as Dasid Jr. Godwin, Paul Tadru, and Ali Shitu, who were nabbed by police operatives, are alleged to be members of a four-man gang specializing in interstate car theft and snatching, with stolen vehicles reportedly transported to Port Harcourt for sale. He noted that a total of 9 vehicles, including Toyota RAV4, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Camry, Lexus SUV, and 5 white Hilux vehicles were recovered from the suspects.
This one is somebody's Silos. They have removed this one to disguise it. We have recovered it. This one is another Hilux. This is the third one. So this one is the fourth. Belong to support. Let the owners come and claim them, please. This one is the latest Jeep that I was telling you. It belongs to somebody. Let the owner come up. They are about, you can see, they are about to change the color. They have already sandpapered it and remove the certain things so that they can reformat the vehicle, but we have gotten them. This one, because there are four. There are four. We have repainted this one. You can see they are just finished repainting this one. So that is what we have seen. We are begging the owners to come and claim their vehicle. This is Plus number 5. It belongs to somebody. You can see they have even done the painting it the black. We don't know the original color that is inside. But they have finished repainting it white. So please let the owners come and collect them. This is the Toyota Corolla. You can see. Let the owner of this Toyota Corolla come up and collect it. This is Toyota Camry. This is Toyota Camry. Please let the owners come. They have debased them in order to reformat and repaint.
CP Igwe further explained that the FCT Police Anti-Fraud Unit also arrested 2 suspects, Abdullahi Yahaya and Gold Ebere at Tin Can Resort Garden in Jabi, in possession of 36 bundles of fake $100 notes. He stated that they confessed to being part of an 8-man gang engaged in the interstate sale of counterfeit dollar notes within the FCT.
Before you accept dollar from somebody, especially those who are in business, please look into the dollar very well. You can see this one, you hardly distinguish it from the original dollar. These are their stock in trade. There are about 6-man team. We have arrested these ones with these dollars. Others, we are still trailing them, and very soon we'll give you further news about their arrest. I want to warn that it is not business as usual in FCT for crimes and criminalities.
The commissioner, while emphasizing the commitment of the FCT Police Command to combat crime and ensure the safety of residents, urged the public to collaborate with law enforcement agencies in their efforts to prevent crime and apprehend criminals. Oluwatoyin Oyedola reporting for BeeTv News.
The Nigerian Police Force has unveiled state-of-the-art security equipment as well as commenced a training program for state coordinators of the Schools Protection Squad and selected divisional police officers nationwide. This is in a bid to reinforce the program for viability in achieving the National Action Plan for Schools Protection. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, made this known at the official unveiling and launching of the training program, which marks a significant step forward by the force in its commitment to safeguard the education system, children and young ones by fostering a secure and conducive learning environment across the nation. The IGP emphasized that the training program aims to equip state coordinators and divisional police officers from all 36 states and the FCT with comprehensive knowledge on the police role in the National Plan for Safe Schools by facilitating the development of a strategic roadmap for the force collaboration with various stakeholders to ensure children's learning environments while optimizing the human and material resources of the force to tackle crimes, particularly those targeting educational institutions. The Inspector General of Police appreciated the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning for spearheading the Financing Safe Schools National Plan and all who have contributed to reaching the current milestone in the program, noting that their invaluable efforts are vital to the country's progress. And the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has revoked the licenses of 4,173 bureaus of exchange operators, accusing the affected institutions of failing to observe regulatory provisions. This was disclosed in a statement on Friday by the bank's Acting Director of Corporate Communications, Sidi Ali Akama. According to the Apex Bank, the move is part of efforts to restore confidence in the nation's foreign exchange market, noting that the list of affected BDC operators is available on its website. The CBN said it is revising the regulatory and supervisory guidelines for bureau de change operations in Nigeria, adding that compliance with the new requirements will be mandatory for all stakeholders in the sector. He stated that the action is an exercise of the powers conferred on it under the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, Act Number 5, and the revised operational guidelines for Burex the Change 2015, the guidelines. These, according to the bank, include payment of all necessary fees, including license renewal within the stipulated period in line with the guidelines, rendition of returns in line with the guidelines, and compliance with guidelines, directives, and circulars of the CBN, particularly anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism, and counter-proliferation financing regulations. The Delta State government has sued an eatery in Asaba for channeling its waste into the public drains, which poses a threat to public health around the vicinity. Commissioner for Environment Jamani Ejiro, who led a team to the firm, warned other businesses violating the state environmental sanitation law to desist or face the full wrath of the law. The state government urban revitalization effort is gaining traction as the Commissioner for Environment promised to penalize anyone who violates its regulations. Residents around the building have complained about the stink from rubbish thrown into the drains. Delta State environmental concerns include oil and gas extraction, solid waste disposal management, erosion and flood control, land deterioration, and others. The Delta State government also set aside 7.5 billion naira for urban renovation in the 2024 budget. As the prices of items keep escalating with each passing day, plunging many into financial crisis, Nigerians list areas they want the federal government to focus on in order to meet the growing needs of the people. Reacting to the harsh economic realities, some Benin residents comment on ways they think the government can tackle the affliction of poverty in the country. The report.
As the hardship in the country worsens, Nigerians suggest key areas the government should prioritize in order to assuage the sufferings in the country and ensure that the people enjoy the full dividends of democracy. Some of the respondents who shared their opinions expressed their displeasure at the high level of inflation, adding that the government can curb hikes in food products by investing in agriculture and assisting farmers with grants. They also urged the government to fix the refineries in the country and provide uninterrupted power supply.
I warn the federal government to actually focus on agriculture and find a way to invest on, farmers, machinery, provide machinery for farmers, and try a way to focus on agriculture so that we can have enough food, because a lot of persons are suffering right now. I don't know what the federal government are actually doing about it. If our refinery was actually working, at least it will actually cushion the effect of us importing and exporting our own product outside the country, and that's the reason for the inflation and everything. So first, agriculture, and second, the PMS, which is the petroleum, and the third, for me, electricity.
Refinery first, and let it open the border. Let it see what is happening in other countries so that you use it for your own, the one that is going in another country, so that you use it here, so that everything will be okay.
One thing the government should do, they should make sure that our refinery, they are working. If they are working, everything, the price of things will come down. And at the same thing, let the president know that we are human beings. I think there will be a limit when you push people to a limit. It will reach a limit that people will not agree. They will bounce back. So the best thing to do before it's too far, let the federal government sit down and think of what to do in order to alleviate all this poverty. All these problems that we are facing. So let's speaking, things are so bad.
God has lamented the rate of unemployment in the country, calling on the government to provide employment opportunities for the unemployed youth and improve the welfare package of workers. They also believe that the government can improve the lives of the uneducated in the society by encouraging them to acquire skills.
Enhance worker salary, at least those that are working, for instance, enhance their pay so that they're able to go to market and buy things for themselves. Then healthcare is also collapsing too. A lot of us, although we are lucky, I have NHIS in my office, but so many people don't have NHIS to access healthcare. You understand me? But we are still in the same country, the same market to go to, the same things we buy. So government should focus on those two areas. First of all, price of things to come down, then workers' welfare, then healthcare and all.
To make farming system more simple for whether educated and not educated to invest in. Then also talk about skills acquisition. It's not everybody that will go to school. Those that are unable to go to school should be able to learn skills free of charge, and they should be equipped so that they can, practice what they have learned. Like I said, they are so numerous, you understand. The masses are suffering. Federal government should please look into it. Money made for the public should not be used for private use.
Nigerians are of the view that the government should set up a price regulatory board to check the constant surge in price of commodities and engage relevant stakeholders with a view to providing solutions to the hardship in the country. Seth Opiaifo, reporting for BeeTv News.
The federal government says all plans have been concluded for the commencement of food distribution to vulnerable Nigerians nationwide. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Abubakar Kyari said the flag off for the distribution will begin in Niger State and subsequently in other zones in Nigeria. The minister urged relevant stakeholders to ensure smooth and transparent distribution of the food items.
We are going to start making deliveries, and as they go, and we are targeting local governments anyway. So we take it to the states and then on to the local government. So it will be on the template of NEMA. NEMA is the one doing the distribution, and the Office of the National Security Advisor.
The Niger State government said they have procured over 130 trucks of grains to complement the federal government palliative food distribution.
We will continue to cultivate. The only way out of this crisis is to go back to agriculture.
Today is the day 6 of the ongoing attempt to break the world longest reading marathon of 200 hours by patient Osareme Asien. BeeTv News crew visited the library this Saturday to see how far she has gone. Friends, fans and team were there to support, encourage and cheer her up. BeeTv News Regina Ojomo has details of the report.
Patient Osareme Asien, a female student who is attempting to break the Guinness longest reading marathon, is currently on day 6 of the exercise. Speaking with the news crew, Miss Isimeme White from Junior Sub and also the PRO in charge of the attempt said they are happy with what she's doing because it's letting people know that an Endo girl can read, and see that Angel is trying so hard to break the record warms their heart.
All we can say to her, keep doing this. This is just the beginning. And we're hoping after this event, she's going to set up a foundation where she can reach out to more young people.
The manager said Angel is planning to empower more students to learn to focus on their career when she's done with the exercise.
We are using this opportunity to reach out to school children, students. You can see all through the week we have students from different schools scattered around Edo State. They've been coming to here, and just recently she has announced that she'll be giving a gift out from recycling, because one of our cardinal points is SDG 14, which talks about life underwater. How do we manage our plastic waste? She has just announced that she'll be giving a cash prize of 100,000 to the best student that can convert plastic waste into any useful thing that will be used in the house. Then she also announced about 4 books that she has asked the students to go back and read, and there will be questions set on it. I think he said the 200,000 naira worth of prize has been set out for that. So it is far more than just the Guinness World Record. We are trying to reawaken the reading culture among our youth.
First, to the young female out there is to emulate Osarime, because she's just there to correct an impression that this local parliament that Edo Girls is known for prostitution. She's out there to let them know that Edo Girls can read, Edo Girls can do better, Edo Girls can transform. So if Rieme can read, that means that the audience can read.
What comes to my mind, one of the things is that I'm super proud. When you see someone do a particular thing that you cannot even attempt, I cannot attempt 10 hours, let alone 100 or 200 hours. So it's a big, huge success for the Edo in perspective, and I'm proud of her.
As at the time of this report, Ms. Angel Asien Osareme has gone 100 hours of reading and left with another 100 hours. Regina Ojombo reporting for BeeTv News.
And to a special report on the evolution of telephones, the telephone over the years has evolved from the catalog model telephones to smartphones, which is predominant in the present-day 21st century, serving different purposes. In those reports, BeeTv News explored the evolution of telephones with the opinion of respondents on the gains of the telephone. The reports.
On February 14, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell applied for a U.S. patent for the telephone. On March 7, 1876, Bell was awarded the United States patent for inventing the telephone, which has changed the world dramatically. The first set of telephones were primitive in nature compared to the ones in existence now. The Kalong model telephone was like a wooden box hung on the wall, with a mouthpiece that projected from the front. On the left was the receiver, which was removed from the hook and head to the ear. On the right was the crank, which one turned to summon the operator, who would then connect your call via the central switchboard. Other models of the telephone were the candlestick and the dex type. The candlestick is the one used in the Andy Graphic shows. It has a mouthpiece and a receiver head to the ear. The dex type had the receiver and the mouthpiece as a single unit, hold it up to your ear and speak into the transmitter. A simple one-handed operation. However, we saw an evolution in telephones as it keeps evolving and presenting us with the present-day smartphones. Telephones went mainstream in the early 20th century. They installed the first coin-operated telephone, and the first manual switchboard debuted in 1878. It led to the first official transcontinental phone call in 1915. Bell from New York City phoned Thomas A. Watson in San Francisco. The 1920s and 1940s era revealed Herbert Hoover was the first U.S. president that used a phone in his office to talk from outside a booth. And in 1946, Bell's company hired 250,000 women as switchboard operators for public and business services. In 1950s and 1960s, global communication became more convenient. The first touch-tone phone with a lighted dial became part of American pop culture and was marketed to traveling business people. Then in 1964, at the New York World's Fair, the first video conferencing feature appeared in the timeline of telephone, called the picture phone. Hotlines were established and 911 was chosen as the nationwide emergency number. 1970s and 1980s brought about the era of mobile phones, which is considered the era of portable mobile phones or cell phones. Matty Cooper, a senior engineer in Motorola, introduced the first ever mobile phone in the world. It was the Motorola Dyna TAC 8000X. At a premier cost of $4,000 US. The prototype handset weighed 2.5 pounds and it offered 30 minutes of talk time, 6 hours standby, and can only store up to 30 contact numbers. The 1990s can be categorized as the internet era. The introduction of a new feature, which is the caller ID, came on board. Although mobile phones were no longer restricted to business use, but were open to mass production. And in 1995, Vocatech patented the first internet call voice over internet protocol, also called IP telephony. They introduced a peripheral device in the international markets that can provide voice calling for desk computers. Nokia took advantage of this transition and launched a handset in telephone timeline history with a picture display. It was the Nokia 1011. And it offered mobile calling, SMS, and games. Since then, Americans got their internet connection through their mobile phones. The year 2000 and beyond witnessed the release of the first BlackBerry handset. The first BlackBerry handset with cell phone services offered real ringtone, Wi-Fi, quad band, and full web browsing in Opera Mini. This device can be used anywhere across the globe. The applications for computers and smartphones were also developed into full integration of landlines, soft phones, and VIP was hosted in private branch exchange phone systems. It allowed users to surf the internet, check their mails, and check voicemail from a single device. For the Nigerian society, telephones was first introduced to Nigeria during the colonial era, with the first telephone exchange established in Lagos in 1886. Initial telephone services were limited to major cities and government offices, primarily serving administrative and governmental communication needs. In the early 20th century, telephone access remained limited to the elite and government officials due to the high cost of infrastructure and equipment. The Nigerian Telecommunications Limited, NITEL, established in 1985, monopolized the telecommunications sector, further restricting access to telephone services. The Nigerian government initiated the National Telecommunications Policy in 1988, aimed at liberalizing the telecommunications sector and encouraging private investment. The Telecommunications Act of 1992 paved the way for the privatization of NITEL and the introduction of competition in the telecommunications market. With the liberalization of the sector, private telecommunications companies began investing in infrastructure expansion, leading to increased access to telephone services. The first cell phone arrived in Nigeria's shores in 1996. Which was when the government's telephone monopoly, Nigerian Telecommunications Limited, NITEL, launched it as an expansion of its vastly restrictive tele-density, with the total number of telephone lines in the country then numbering just less than 350,000 for a population of 119 million at that time. This translated to a telephone distribution of one line to 340 Nigerians. While its first field of mobile telephone was in 2000s, the Global System of Mobile Communications, GSM, is in its 24th year in Nigeria. At inception, what mattered was getting a means of virtual communication without having to depend on people who owned land phones to communicate. According to GSMA, as of 2019, smartphones has remained the primary access to the internet despite the influx of other mobile and smart devices. This, to an extent, depicts that the level of internet penetration has resulted more from personal use of smartphones than the use of other browsing devices. It is against this backdrop, respondents who spoke with BeeTv News Crew lauded the benefits and gains of the mobile phones, especially in this current age. They stated that it has brought ease to communication, especially with the advantage of the internet.
In those days, when we don't have phone, for you to reach here someone, even inside Nigeria or outside, is a problem, either through a post office or any other means. But now you can stay in Benin here, you call someone in abroad, understand? Even you people be sharing thoughts or whatever, understand? So it has helped a lot. It is very, very good. You can, if in a twinkle of an eye, you can hear from somebody that you have not heard from for a long time.
You know, because the benefits are really very many. Really very many. You know, for me, and I'm sure for a majority of others too, and to the society at large, you know, smartphone has brought a lot of innovation, you know, and a whole lot of changes in the way we do things. You know, what do I really mean by this? You'll discover that those days, for instance, if you needed to write a letter, you know the number of days or weeks, depending on the destination of the letter. But these days, all you just need to do is to pen down, some few words, whether on your smartphone or whatever phone, provided it's a handset, like it's generally called. And before you know it, your communication gets to the other end and you are getting a feedback.
Phone has been of great benefit to me in the sense of my business. Like before, let me assume the older days, you have something to sell and nobody knows about it, nobody knows you. And probably you may not have that money to take it to the news stations to advertise. But now, thanks to phone and social media, you can advertise your products and people will know what you do, they patronize you.
With the advent of the smartphone, I'll be able to do some amazing things with my phone. Like me, for instance, I work in the ICT department, so phone has really been of great help to me. So with my smartphone, I can do so many amazing things, like it makes my work easier.
Maybe as a daybreak now, just as a day now, we say daybreak, ready to wait for me for some place like that. I will see, for me to wait for him, I'll use the phone to call him to come and meet me as I'm already in that very place. From there, we go to the actual place we want to go and work.
With the telephone being accessible to anyone at any day or time, communication has been made easy. Smartphones has become essential to our modern life. As you can see, the way one communicates continually changes from time to time. Now, one gets to enjoy more features and flexibility, making modern devices essential to everyday life. Phones bring loved ones from around the world together, make business transactions smoother, provide entertainment and allow users to capture every moment. Tosin Toluwalojo, reporting for BeeTv News.
A leap year occurs every 4 years unless it falls on a century year that cannot be divided by 4. In this report, our correspondent tells us all we need to know about the leap year. The report.
A leap year, also known as an intercalary year or bisectal year, is a calendar year that contains an additional day, or in the case of a lunisolar calendar, a month, compared to a common year. The 366-day or 13-month is added to keep the calendar year synchronized with the astronomical year or seasonal year. Since astronomical events and seasons do not repeat in a whole number of days, calendars having a constant number of days each year will unavoidably drift over time with respect to the events that the year is supposed to track, such as seasons. By inserting an additional day, a leap day or month, a leap month into some years, the drift between a civilization's dating system and the physical properties of the solar system can be corrected. The term leap year probably comes from the fact that a fixed date in the Gregorian calendar normally advances one day of the week from one year to the next, but the day of the week in the 12 months following the leap day from 1st March through 28 February of the following year will advance 2 days due to the extra day, thus leaping over 1 day in the week. For example, Christmas Day, 25th December, fell on a Friday in 2020, Saturday in 2021, Sunday in 2022, and Monday in 2023, but then will leap over Tuesday to fall on a Wednesday in 2024. The length of a day is also occasionally corrected by inserting a leap second into Coordinated Universal Time, UTC, because of variations in Earth's rotation period. Unlike leap days, leap seconds are not introduced on a regular schedule because variations in the length of the day are not entirely predictable. Leap years can present a problem in computing, known as the leap year bug, when a year is not correctly identified as a leap year, or when 29 February is not handled correctly in logic that accepts or manipulates dates. In the Gregorian calendar, the standard calendar in most of the world, almost every 4th year is a leap year. Each leap year, the month of February has 29 days instead of 28. Adding one extra day in the calendar every 4 years compensates for the fact that the period of 365 days is shorter than a tropical year by almost 6 hours. The Gregorian calendar was designed to keep the vernal equinox on or close to 21st March so that the date of Easter, celebrated on the Sunday after the ecclesiastical full moon that falls on or after 21st March, remains close to the vernal equinox. The accuracy section of the Gregorian calendar article discusses how well the Gregorian calendar achieves this design goal and how well it approximates the tropical year. In England, in the 15th century, 29 February appears increasingly often in legal documents. Although the records of the proceedings of the House of Commons of England continue to use the old system until the middle of the 16th century, it was not until the passage of the Calendar New Style Act 1750 that 29 February was formally recognized in British law. A person born on February 29 may be called a leapling or a leaper. In common years, they usually celebrate their birthdays on 28 February. In some situations, 1st March is used as the birthday in a non-leap year, since it is the day following 28th February. Technically, a leapling will have fewer birthday anniversaries than their age in years. This phenomenon may be exploited for dramatic effect when a person is declared to be only a quarter of their actual age by counting their leap year birthday anniversaries only. For example, in Gilbert and Sullivan's 1879 comic opera The Pirates of Penzance, Frederick, the pirate apprentice, discovers that he is bound to serve the pirates until his 21st birthday. That is, when he turns 88 years old, since 1900 was not a leap year, rather than until his 21st year. For legal purposes, legal birthdays depend on how local laws count time intervals. But how many persons are aware of this? We spoke to a few respondents.
It's the year with one day harder. Like a year is 365 days, the leap year is 360 days, but with the same weeks.
Oh, normally the year is comprises of 365 days. So each time February happens to be 29 days instead of 28 days. The year added a day to it.
What I understand by leap year is that every 4 years, the year changes. Okay? For instance, this year will be 29, while last year ends with 28. That is what I understand by leap year.
The Earth rotates around the sun for about 365 days. So in the leap year, in the case of a leap year, it rotates around the sun for 366 days. I can just say it's a process whereby the Earth rotates around the sun for an extra time instead of the normal usual 365 days.
The leap year comes in every 4 years. This year is leap year, so we are expecting another leap year coming for the next 4 years again.
And that's our special report on the leap year. Oluwatoyin Oyedola reporting for BeeTv News.
Various careers and vocations these days demand for time, energy, and attention. Men and women alike, single or married, have lots of expectations with regards to their family members and others. Therefore, some women like their husbands to pursue careers and vocations so that they can help assist with paying off the bills in the house. But some of these careers and vocations, which are supposedly for married women, have been discovered to be cumbersome and time-consuming, not letting many married women concentrate on homekeeping or balancing it with activities at the workspace. BeeTv News Best Orator brings this report based on the best fit careers for married women and this Nigerian society. The report.
Working class women and their male folks look forward to contribute their quota to the settling of bills and attending to the needs of family members. There are many careers and vocations that can create allowances for married women to still function as wives and caregivers at home. While speaking to BeeTv News crew, most respondents believe that the best fit careers for married women is being a trader and being self-employed business women. They also said that it would be better for married women to be involved in creative vocations and skills that can put food on the table for their families.
That the best career for women to enter into now is to maybe learn good and work. But nowadays, salary work, the amount they are paying monthly is not enough to cater for the children and do other things.
A married woman can go into now, as Nigeria is buying and selling, being a trader.
I say we can go to buying and selling because that one will give us more chance to take care of our home. You have store. And take care of your children.
The best work with married woman, as a married woman, what you're supposed to do, have a business or have a work that you are doing that's personal business, be self-employed. Because as a self-employed person, you will determine when you will close your work and when not to close your work. So as someone that has children, you have time for your kids also. But when you are doing a government work, you will be under the influence of your boss, because anytime the person calls you, you must answer.
Some other persons think that the best career or vocation for married women should be the teaching profession.
Okay, teaching is okay, yeah. So yes, finish is okay, teaching.
While many working wives in different vocations continue to assist their working husbands to provide for the needs of the family, it is believed that this will go a long way to reduce the economic hardship in various homes. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
Breakfast is the first meal of the day, usually eaten in the morning. But why is it called breakfast in the first place? BeeTv News correspondent was out in the Benin City metropolis to gather different explanations from Nigerians and to know the reason for referring to the morning meal as breakfast. The report is presented by Millicent Agagba.
The first meal of the day, usually eaten in the morning, is called breakfast. The word in English refers to breaking the fasting period of the previous night. Various typical or traditional breakfast menus exist, with food choices varying by regions and traditions worldwide. In Old English, a regular morning meal was called mojimate, and the word dinner, which originated from Gallo-Roman dictionary, to break one's fast, referred to a meal after fasting. Around mid-13th century, that meaning of dinner faded away, and around 15th century, breakfast came into use in written English to describe a morning meal. Having breakfast or morning meal is a well-known practice worldwide, including Nigeria. But do many citizens here know the meaning of the word breakfast, or the reason for calling the first meal of the morning breakfast? Some Nigerians who spoke with the news crew gave a rather shallow explanation as to the reason for referring to the morning meal as breakfast, stating their reason to be the first food taken by a person to start the day.
Breakfast is what you take first in the morning before any other thing.
However, a few individuals who also spoke with the news crew possesses little but a bit comic knowledge as to why the first meal of the day is called breakfast, saying that it is a meal taken to sustain life.
It's life, as in just to eat it so that we can feel comfortable. Understand? So that is what I see inside over there.
I make person make you feel get strength to do any other thing now.
Meanwhile, others interviewed were able to get the correct explanation as to the reasons for referring to the first meal of the day as breakfast. They said it was the first meal taken to break the fast of the night during the inactive sleeping non-feeding period.
Morning breakfast. Because as you all wake up, you all be like as you sleep in the fast. As you all wake up, you got to break your fasting now. As you do so, if you charge you do fasting, your fast for some seconds. You sleeping, you know they eat, you know they drink. So as you wake up, belly don't cast, intestine excuse. So you got to find something for belly now to carry on your day. Now I would think my definition be that one.
It's assumed that while you sleep in the night, you are going into what we call length of fasting period. And when you wake up in the morning, the first food you take is like you breaking the fast.
Nutritionist recommends having breakfast, preferably a light one, as it enhances the brain function of an individual and mental alertness. Millicent Agagba reporting for BeeTv News.
Nigerians are generally losing the custom of giving their children indigenous names. Thus, practice may not be serving the cause of the African-Nigerian culture. BeeTv News crew took to the streets to find out from Nigerians their take on giving traditional names to their children in respect to preserving the culture that they represent. The report.
Names serve the purpose of identification in terms of knowing what country, state, religion, or community of interest an individual represents. Without doubt, names are capable of giving vivid representations of certain occurrences during the birth of individuals. Since names are birthed from language, with the latter being a major component of culture, many have lost touch with the beauty and essence of tradition. Giving traditional names can help reawaken the consciousness of a source in people's hearts. But it has been observed in recent times that most people now prefer Western names for their children. Respondents who gave their opinion to the subject matter all bought the idea of giving native names to their children, giving reasons ranging from identifying with a culture to passing on cultural values to the younger generation, keeping up with indigenous culture, instead of allowing westernization replace all that Nigeria and Africa represent, amongst others. Some persons said they prefer giving both English and native names to their children.
My children, I give them native name all through because I'm a Delta man. They are all Ogenetegas. Ogenetegas. One is Ogenetega, one is Ogenetejiri, Ogenetekeve. So it make me to remember my people, and it help our culture. It will help our culture.
Well, it's very relevant because if you wash out some civilian countries, some other countries, but most of all these people, they give their children's a native name, like somebody like place like Japan and many other. So I think for we, the Africans, Nigerians, so it's very compulsory for we to give a native name to our children.
It's like giving a child an English name, and the child travel out of the country, and maybe someone get married to a white, and there's no trace of where that child come from. So that child has been lost totally. So to me, I see that it's encouraging that we give our children our local dialect name and also give the children English name.
I think we should talk to ourselves, you understand? I think it's good to give us our children African names. Especially, Africans always have a meaning, good meaning to names. Exactly. If you're having a child, maybe that particular period, fortune smiling on you, you just go to your archives and look for one better native name to that child.
It is very necessary and very good to promote our culture. For instance, I'm from Benue State. I'm married to an Edo man. All my children bear my tribal names, given by my mother, and then my husband's father gave my children names too. They bear it. For instance, my first born is Tenenge. Second name, my second born, which is a female, is Aondungwemu. The third one is a female too, Movinze. The fourth one is Ose. The last one is Tezungwe. I can tell you all their meanings. Then the other names are Isaiah Sabo, Osainoma, Osarobo, Osamagbe, and so on and so forth. Then they have English name. It is very good, very, very important. Because as you mentioned your native name, people know exactly where you're coming from.
More than any time, now is the time to stand firm in promoting and inculcating in the younger generation the importance of culture. Tosin Toluwaloju, reporting for BeeTv News.
The Nigerian population has been ranked the 6th world largest and most populous nation in Africa, with over 218 million citizens. With national problems ever on the rise and available resources scarcely reaching the present population, what role does family planning have to play in reducing the booming population? BeeTv News' Regina Ojomo completes the story.
According to the dictionary, family planning is the consideration of the number of children a person wishes to have, including the choice to have no children and at the age at which they wish to have them. By engaging action, family planning refers to the use of modern contraceptive and natural techniques to limit or space pregnancy. With the present economic reality that Nigeria is combating, everything it takes to physically raise a child is on the high side. Family planning cannot be overemphasized to every Nigerian family. Even individuals who are yet to begin raising a family must be armed with the right knowledge about family planning. Several Nigerians expressed their support for the subject of family planning, saying that with the rise in the price of every commodity, it is crucial for every individual who wants to raise thoroughly trained children to limit the number of children they plan to have.
Family planning, as the country don't be now, this situation don't be now. Now my advice to other women, if rubber price now 4,000 naira, so you go look the situation of things. If you dey born, if there is still other people they born 5 children, to me I go born only 2 or 1. When we say I know say I go fit eat well, I'll fit send her go school. It makes you to control your resources and everything that pertains to you. How to feed your children, to clothe them. For you to be in good health, you need to do family planning. Person go get 2 children now. So it's the fun. Now everything is done here. You will get you children now. Look up on price be 400 naira. I want to buy food. Wait, this way go. All those children eat. If you get now, born one girl, it's okay.
So you can do family plan to prevent yourself from having a child. They should try it because it's good nowadays. Because pampers is very expensive, rice is expensive, pants now is expensive. So they should try it.
Even the use of contraceptive by some persons has not exactly recorded success. With proper medical consultation and right application, individuals can be assured of regulated conception. Regina Ojoma reporting for BeeTv News.
And on to global news, let's join Rebecca Goffey.
11 people were killed and 50 injured in an Israeli air attack on tents near Emirati Maternity Hospital in Rafah City, Gaza. Among the dead were Abdel Fattah Abu Mari, head of the hospital's paramedic unit. Children were among the injured. The strike shattered the sense of safety in Rafah, previously considered a safe zone. The attack targeted displaced persons' tents, including an entire family. The Tal al-Sultan area where the attack occurred has been targeted before, but this is the worst incident. Bodies were taken to Kuwaiti Hospital, overwhelming its capacity. The wounded will be transferred to Al-Najjar Hospital. Meanwhile, the UN reported that many people injured in a rush on an aid convoy in Gaza had bullet wounds. The incident occurred when a crowd descended on the convoy, resulting in gunfire and chaos. Hamas accuses Israel of firing civilians, while Israel claims it was a stampede after warning shots were fired. Over 100 people were killed and hundreds injured, according to Gaza's health ministry. The World Food Programme warned of an impending famine in northern Gaza, which has received little aid recently. Israel denies direct involvement and attributes the gunfire to Palestinian armed groups. Iran had begun counting votes from parliamentary and clerical body elections amid reports of the lowest turnout since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The elections followed widespread protests triggered by the death of Mahsa Amini in police custody. Over 61.2 million Iranians were eligible to vote. 2 polls were held to elect parliament members and the Assembly of Experts. This assembly oversees Iran's supreme leader who makes key decisions. Iran faces challenges from international sanctions, economic crisis, and unrest. Despite appeals from Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, many Iranians were unsure about participating. Early polling indicated a potentially record low turnout, especially in Tehran. A state-linked agency projected a 41% turnout for parliamentary elections, potentially the lowest in 12 such votes. Finally, Ukraine's Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief General Alexander Krysky intends to replace some military leaders in the Eastern Front after assessing their performance. This follows Ukraine's withdrawal from Avdiivka, a key town besieged by Russian forces aimed at saving lives. Avdiivka had been a battleground since 2014. General Krysky aims to replace commanders whose decisions endanger their troops. And that's it on the Global News segment for tonight. Thanks very much for watching. I am Rebecca Goffey.
And lastly, on our bulletin tonight, sports is a multi-billion-dollar business around the world. Some sports teams accrue billions of dollars annually from player or athlete transfers, investments from oil-rich moguls, and endorsements from mega companies through athlete or team sponsorships. Many sports teams, especially in Europe and America, from American football to basketball as baseball, have seen their financial fortunes quadrupled over the years, making them very valuable. In this special report, the world's most valuable sports teams, according to Forbes, are illustrated by BeeTv News. Millicent Agaba has the details.
The world's most valuable sports teams, as ranked annually by the American magazine Forbes, includes teams from Association of Football, American football, baseball, and basketball. In 2016, the National Football League NFL's Dallas Cowboys simultaneously became both the first team to surpass $4 billion in value and the first non-association football team to top the ranking since its inception in 2010. Manchester United 2010 to 2012 and Real Madrid 2013 to 2015 have previously been named the most valuable team 3 times. The current ranking came out on September 8, 2023. Here are the top 12 most valuable sports teams in 2023. Coming first is the Dallas Cowboys. The American football or NFL sports team is now valued at $9.202 billion. It is currently the most valuable sports team in the world. New York Yankees. At the second position is the baseball and Major League Baseball team, the New York Yankees, with a financial value of $7.103 billion. The third most valuable sports team is the Golden State Warriors basketball team. This NBA team has been reported to owe most of its success to superstar Steph Curry, who has led the team to 4 titles so far since 2015. The Warriors are valued at $7 billion. The number 3 position is shared by the New England Patriots, American football, NFL. This NFL team is currently valued at $7 billion. They are among the former winners of the Super Bowl. Los Angeles Rams, American football, NFL. At number 5, the Rams have a total valuation of $6.905 billion in 2023. The New York Giants, American football, NFL. The NFL team is currently worth $6.806 billion. The Chicago Bears, American football, NFL. Another American football team, the Chicago Bears, sit at number 7. Their value is $6.307 billion. Las Vegas Raiders, American football, NFL. At number 8 are the Las Vegas Raiders. This NFL team is worth $6.208 billion currently. New York Knicks, basketball, NBA. The New York Knicks in the NBA are the 9th most valuable team in the world with a current rate of $6.10 billion. The New York Jets, an American football NFL team, also sits at number 9 with $6.10 billion. Real Madrid Association Football, Spanish La Liga. The Spanish La Liga team has been the most successful at European Champions League level and has a current value of $6.0710 billion. Washington Commanders, American football, NFL. At number 10 sits another rich team in the NFL, Washington Commanders, valued at a $6.0511 billion. Manchester United Association Football, English Premier League. Though the English club Manchester United have experienced some managerial and ownership charges, it is currently worth $6 billion at number 11. Also at number 11 is the NFL team, the San Francisco 49ers, with current value of $6 billion. Finally, at number 12 are the Los Angeles Lakers football and NBA team, which boasts of superstars LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and valued at $5.9 billion in 2023. That's the special report on the most valuable sports teams according to Forbes. Millicent Agagba reporting for BeeTv News.
And that's the size of our news package tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Tosin Toluwaloju. Have a wonderful night rest.